Jim Simmons, I'm a professional engineer. I live in Porter's Lake, and I've worked in the environmental area for probably 25 years in Nova Scotia. My question is, there's been a lot of commentary tonight about reliance on Lower Churchill as our greatest potential for renewable energy in Nova Scotia, and certainly that project has a lot of hurdles to cross yet with Aboriginal people, huge technical issues which are crossing the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and as well as the undefined costs that will arrive in Nova Scotia. My question is, given the fact that we are going to need these renewables to meet, most specifically, our climate change challenges, what is your plan B?
Howard, yes.
Okay, so it's certainly true, all that you said. It's going to be a while before we get access to hydroelectricity as the mainstay of our system. At the moment, it's going to continue to be fossil fuels. There's just no doubt about it. That's what's going to happen in Nova Scotia until that alternative is developed. But that doesn't mean that we have to give up on reducing our energy use, on moving to renewables. That has to be the crucial policy steps that we take here.
Plan A is to develop the renewables that are abundant in Nova Scotia. Churchill Falls is a plan B to back up these intermittent energy sources. But the plan A is to develop our own renewable energy sources.
Yeah, I think that's it. We have to develop our own renewable energy sources, and as Howard pointed out, unfortunately we're going to continue burning fossil fuels until we get the infrastructure in place that we need. Thanks.
Okay. And Jane?
Plan B, well, we see it as a mix of many facets that are needed to address the energy concerns of Nova Scotians. Yes, we are relying on Churchill Falls. That's one part of the mix. Renewables in Nova Scotia is another important aspect of that mix, and that is why we are opening up the monopoly to allow energy producers to sell directly to consumers. Tidal power is another part of the Nova Scotia renewable mix, and I agree we will continue to rely on fossil fuels until we get to that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ruth Bishop. I'm with the Voice of Women for Peace. I think we're all well aware that many environmental thinkers try to promote nuclear power as a green and safe, clean alternative. Our group is very concerned about nuclear power, and we're pleased that nobody in Nova Scotia seems to be talking about it. We are, however, very concerned about uranium mining, and as I think you all know, the main civilian use of uranium is for nuclear power. And there are major environmental and health impacts. And my question is simply a yes-no question. Would your party support a complete legislated ban of uranium mining in Nova Scotia?
I've addressed that in the legislature. The science and the economists tell me that it would be good to have it in Nova Scotia, but Nova Scotians have made it clear they do not want it, and we have respected that. Back in the early 80s, we did put in the moratorium, and until Nova Scotians change their opinion, then that's the way it will continue to be in Nova Scotia. Is that a yes or no? Oh, that's my answer.
Yes.
Okay.
We support the continued moratorium ban on uranium mining.
Howard.
A legislative ban, we've said this a number of times, it makes no sense, and I'll also point out something to you, which is that Section 8 of the Nova Scotia Power Privatization Act, that's the act that actually made Nova Scotia Power not a publicly owned company, but a company that is privatized. Back in 1992, Section 8 prohibits Nova Scotia Power from owning or operating a nuclear generating facility. That section is there because at the time I was director of the Ecology Action Centre. I went to the Law Amendments Committee and made various suggestions for changes to the act as it was going through, and the only one they accepted was that particular section. I'm very proud of that.
So is that yes, no?
Yes to the uranium mining ban and extra information for you.
My name is Stephanie Robertson. I'm with the Halifax Field Naturalists, who have been enjoying and sharing Nature Nova Scotia with the public for many years, and we want them to be able to go on enjoying the beauties and the healthful recreation and the nature of Nova Scotia. I would like you panelists to address this thing that I noticed that you all talked about right in the beginning. I don't see how true environmental sustainability can be targeted or discussed without changing the politically outmoded phrase economic growth to economic stability. There cannot be infinite growth. It just can't happen without having the natural environment suffer. So I'd like some comments on that. And economic growth is a kind of an addictive thing. It's the kind of thing that Nova Scotia Powers gets addicted to, and they want to keep growing and make more profit. So could you please comment on that?
Yeah, I think we have to start looking at the true cost of things, and a great way to do that, I think, is the Genuine Progress Index. Found at gpiatlantic.org. It's an excellent way of, and a tool and a plan of evaluating us as Nova Scotians, and I think that's a key component to that. Thank you.
Jane.
Well, thank you. Just following up on that, we would certainly use that GPI index, but as only one factor in assessing the issues you've raised. Everything is about balance. You know, you talk about the impact. I think you're raising the issue of the impact of economic growth on the natural environment. You know, we have to sustain and protect areas of our natural environment. It is for our own well-being. It is for our own future. Sorry?
I'm 5 seconds in time.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Jane, it's a complicated question. So, Howard.
Okay, some aspects of growth are inevitable. World population right now is 6 billion. We're told by demographers that it'll stop and go steady at about 9 billion, but that's coming within the next couple of decades. But there's going to be growth that's implied by that to a certain extent. But I'm a big believer in what's called steady state economics. Writers like Daly and Cobb or Hazel Henderson have written extensively about this, and essentially steady state economics is what makes sense. And beating the drums for growth, that language, Stephanie, I think you're exactly right, is not the correct language.
And David.
The whole premise of the environmental goals of the Sustainable Prosperity Act is simply that the environment and sustainable prosperity are not mutually exclusive, and I think that the Act really gives the framework to move forward in addressing both.
Thank you. And Mark Butler. Let's wrap it up.